There is a movement sweeping across the country, and it is insane, and it has been going on for the past nearly a year and a half. A year and 2 months, I guess. So maybe not nearly a year and a half, but it's Donald Trump running for the office of the United States presidency. And a lot of people misinterpret him because the media portrays him in a different light and distorts what he really says. Like, for instance, when he talks about illegal immigrants being criminals, well, the media distorts that and says that Donald Trump hates immigrants because they're all criminals. Well, no, he said illegal immigrants are criminals. He didn't say immigrants, he said illegal immigrants. Or they'll say Donald Trump hates Mexicans because he said that Mexico is sending bad people through the illegal immigration wave. That doesn't mean that he hates Mexicans. That means not that he hates illegal immigrants. That means that he is not happy with Mexico and their problems coming to our country. And they're not coming through a legal process. They're coming through the illegal entry. They're coming through by trespassing. So the media distorts what he says multiple times. And I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm not saying he's, angelic and pure. But, and he has said some stuff that I've cringed at a few times where I'm like, yeah, that's not good. He's had some sequences like that. But overall, the media will take something that he says and blow it out of proportion, just like the Second Amendment talk when he talked about Hillary Clinton, and he said the Second Amendment people could do something about, her if she tries and takes the guns. Well, in no type of way how he said it, in any type of variation, was it a call for an assassination on Hillary Clinton. When you go and listen to what he actually said, word for word, verbatim, it does not link any type of way and any type of signal to assassinate her. It was just stating that the Second Amendment was created by our founding fathers to resist an oppressive government. And if anybody tries to abolish the Second Amendment, if our government ever tries to erode the Second Amendment in any type of way, the people have a right to do something about it and fall back on their guns against an oppressive government, because it's the whole reason why 1776 happened and the United States of America formed. It was about resisting an oppressive government and creating your own colonization and creating the USA. So that's what he was saying, Second Amendment people can do something about it because that's exactly what the Second Amendment is made for. If they try to take the guns, you can resist because you have your Second Amendment. So the media, they spin everything that he says, and he said some things that weren't very smart to say and that could easily be misinterpreted if heard once. But just so many instances he says something that's just fine and logical and true, and the media will take it and they'll spin it and make, like with the illegal immigrant, he says we got to stop illegal immigration. And then the media says Donald Trump wants to stop all immigration. No, he wants to stop illegal immigration because that's not immigration, that's trespassing. There's a difference between immigration and there's a difference between invasion. Immigration is going through the process, getting checked out, throwing up your hand and swearing the pledge, doing the oath, and becoming a United States citizen. Naturalization. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. It's a prideful, proud thing to do. Invasion is when you sneak into a country and no documents, you just come in. So there's a difference between immigration and illegal immigration. I mean, it's pretty obvious. One is lawful and safe. The other one is a very bad breach of national security and our safety. Now, with Donald Trump, he's not perfect, and his track record does go against the conservative values that he claims to hold right now, his virtues that he claims to hold right now. His background and his pretty much nearly his entire life kind of goes against it. Now, he has had some cases where he's resonated with Republican and conservative ideology, but he's also had some cases where he's leaned liberal throughout his life. So you've seen conservatives bring up, oh, he was for abortion 10 years ago and he was okay with choice and all that and various other things. Well, yeah, they'll bring that up, but they will also bring up that he was for a lot of conservative values also back then as well. But he's now fully conservative with his thoughts and political preferences and perspectives. Now, it's totally a movement. The GOP tried to stop him The Democrats currently trying to stop him. They're actually doing decent at it seems. But the GOP tried to stop him, his own party. I mean, the Republicans were old, washed up losers. The millennials hate the Republicans. So the only way to fight fire with fire coming at you is, sadly, you got to fight fire with fire, because, the GOP was trying to appeal to millennials and all that, and the millennials say, oh, you're not diverse enough, or, oh, you're just a Christian patriarchy-loving party, and you're racist, and blah, 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 although the Republican Party freed the slaves, and the Democrats tried to keep blacks enslaved, which arguably, they still have blacks enslaved right now, as Democratic policies keep black people in poverty, and their crime high, but, that's a topic for another time. Anyway, the GOP, they've been washed up. Nobody likes them. Millennials don't like them. Immigrants don't like them. A lot of people don't like them, and a lot of white people don't even like the GOP anymore. So the GOP template was very old. It was homophobic in the views of a lot of people, and it just represented old values that people didn't like. So Donald Trump said, you know what? I'm coming out, and the GOP's been a whipping post for liberalism and radical leftists and Democrats and all of this stuff and multiculturalism and all of this. It's been a whipping post, and conservatism has totally been just raped politically. So I'm going to come out, and I'm not going to get my ass kicked because I'm a Republican. I'm going to come out and kick ass. So when they tried to hit Donald Trump with being not politically correct, he said, I don't care. And he said the brutal, honest truth. He may have exaggerated now and then, but overall, what he said was blatant. What he said was true. It was politically incorrect. The Democrats used that as a ploy, as they always do. The difference between Donald Trump and the GOP is that GOP politicians, they usually, when they get called politically incorrect, they'll apologize and say, oh, I'm so sorry that I offended you. I'm so sorry. Donald Trump, when he gets told to apologize for a statement that he said, even if it's true, he gets told to apologize. Guess what he says? Forget your feelings, you sensitive little wimp, you weakling. That's the difference. Liberals try to throw, and Democrats try to throw all this political correctness on Donald Trump. And Donald Trump doesn't apologize. He'll apologize if he didn't do something that was right, morally or ethically. He'll apologize if he was wrong, but he's been saying truth. He's over-exaggerated a few times, but overall, the majority, he has said truth. And there's merit and validity to what he's saying. And so when the Democrats come out and say that's offensive just for telling factual things, Donald Trump says, I'm not apologizing, and he'll even double down on it and say it more because it's the truth. So it's totally a movement. The GOP couldn't contain it because the GOP is a whipping post for Democrats. That's why the millennials hate the GOP, because they're brainwashed by liberalism. They're brainwashed by leftist professors in liberal colleges with safe zones. They're brainwashed by all of this borderline cultural communism, Marxism, socialism bullshit. And so the GOP couldn't appeal to them because the GOP is capitalism, all of this stuff, mainly. And the GOP is conservatism overall. And so the millennials didn't go down with that. And so the millennials started viciously berating the GOP, and the GOP just took it. And whenever they said something that wasn't even offensive, but the Democrats said, oh, that's racist, that's sexist, that's blah, 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 the GOP people like Mitt Romney, McCain, they would apologize. You know, when a woman asked McCain back in 2007 or 2008 if Obama was a Muslim, McCain took the mic from her and practically apologized like it was him who said it. McCain didn't say it, it was the woman who said it. Now, whether you think Obama's a Muslim or not, I don't think he is, but I mean, I think he does sympathize with Muslims, and I think he's more kind to the Islamic community than he is to any other religious affiliation. But whether he's a Muslim or not, I don't think he is. But still, McCain got berated because a woman asked him that. Because one woman out of an entire supporter base of his, they just assumed, oh, McCain must think Obama's a Muslim. And so, you know, he had to apologize for all that, and he had to cut her mic off. Donald Trump got asked if Obama is a Muslim, and he said, I don't know. I'm not personally in tune with Obama. I don't talk to him. He's not a friend. I don't know. So Trump didn't disregard that statement when he was asked if Obama was a Muslim. And then he got berated for it. Like, why is that his fault? People make fun of Donald Trump because he doesn't recite a biblical verse, like it's exactly supposed to be said with the 2 Corinthians when he said that. And they say, oh, he's not a real Christian. Well, how is that any different than Donald Trump saying, I don't know if Obama's a Muslim or not? If you're saying Trump isn't a real Christian, then what's the big deal about Trump saying that Obama may or may not be a Muslim? He doesn't know. So Trump fights back. The Republican Party and platform did not fight back. They're a whipping post. That's why they kept getting their ass kicked. And now the polls say that they're getting their ass kicked with Trump, but a lot of intermediate, middle ground polls that don't poll more Democrats disproportionately, a lot of polls that poll the general consensus and fairly poll Republicans, Democrats, and undecided people show that Trump is in the lead. Now, when you listen to CNN, MSNBC, and all those stations that say Hillary's winning by 5 or 7 points, that's because you look at the polls and you see that they polled more Democrats by a disproportionate amount. But if you go to intermediate, real polls that aren't conservative, that aren't partisan, that aren't Democrat, that are unbiased, middle ground polls, shows that Trump's winning. And in the LA Times poll, Trump is beating Hillary by 2 currently. So Donald Trump has really said, screw political correctness, screw all of that, and he's called out the Democrats for their failed policies. Whether the Democrats are trying to keep the black people overall poor, broke, crime-infested, or whether they truly are not doing that. Either way, Democratic policies have not just failed blacks, they've made things worse for blacks. And historically, when you look at the Republican Party, it's been the party for black people. It's freed them from slavery when Democrats fought desperately to keep black people in chains and working on a plantation. So the Democrats, whether they're trying to keep blacks in trouble and poor overall, not all blacks, but overall the black community, down, that's one thing. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, I don't know. Maybe someone, who knows. Overall, though, whether they're doing it purposefully or not, you look at truth, you look at stats, you look at the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, Democratic policies has not just kept black people down, it's deteriorated the black community, it's deteriorated black neighborhoods, it's made things worse for blacks overall. So Donald Trump has called out the Democrats for doing that. And believe it or not, a lot of black people are waking up to this. And the media has said that Donald Trump hates black people, although throughout his entire campaign he has not said one thing that would signal anything about that. And if you notice, Donald Trump was never called a racist until he decided to run against the Democrats. Donald Trump had so many black friends, there's so many pictures of him online, with black people, and I was, that's a photo op, he's not really friendly with black people, it's a publicity stunt. Give me a break, folks. This is years back before he was even, as famous as he is now. He was always famous, but he was never this famous. Some people would say Trump was a quasi-celebrity, not really famous, somewhat famous. But now he's really famous. But back when he wasn't getting nearly as much fame and attention as he is now, he had plenty of black business people he worked with, black friends in all these races, and he worked with a lot of Muslims. He worked with people in Saudi Arabia with business deals. He worked with people everywhere. Hired Mexicans, hired Hispanics, hired Asians, hired all races, whites, everybody. And then when he decided to run for president, the Democrats accused him of being racist just for saying the truth. They said, he hates black people, although the only thing he's ever said about black people is that he's going to bring jobs to black communities and he's going to fix the broken school system in black communities so blacks can get educated and not continue to overall be in such poverty and violence and crime. So Donald Trump has refused to be a whipping post, and that's why this is a movement, because the GOP couldn't contain it, and the Democrats are having a hard time doing it right now, and this is a movement to destroy the Democrats and their lies. What do you think? Donald Trump, is this a movement? I think so.